Live from Shenanigans Bar and Grill, this is Bobcats Insider, live on Pixelcast Media's Concho Sports Network, brought to you by Shenanigans and Luke's Cage. I'm Darren Prater, Arlen Ponder is on the other side, and Coach Mark Smith, Central head coach, is with us. Still plenty of district games to play, but we dropped the District 2-6A Little Southwest Conference opener against the Midland Lee Rebels, 58-42 Friday night for homecoming night. One of the players was homecoming king, number 7, Mason Van Sickle. Congratulations to him.
What can he not do? That guy. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
We interviewed him after the game. I'm asking him future plans. He talked about marketing and all. I'm like, I see Senator Van Sickle, state representative, congressman. Anyway, congratulations to Mason on that. But it was a tough loss and a really good game. A lot of penalty flags thrown, but it was a thrilling game. The Bobcats were in it. It was nip and tuck the whole time, right up until the fourth quarter, and they got ahead by 16. And we still had our chances, but it was a tough loss to go 0-1 in district. We'll talk about the team we're playing Friday here a little bit later on. Who is that? Oh, yeah, the ones they call Mojo. Well, Coach Smith, let's talk about the game, man. They march down there and score a big pass play, and then they get the touchdown. But we come back, and we score, and 7-7, it's good. Then we let them run the kickoff back 95 yards. Not good. No,
and we came back, scored again.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
It was back and forth. That's what I loved about it.
We moved the ball quite well.
First of all, just what an amazing crowd that it was, in San Angelo Stadium Friday night. That was just, looking back there and just seeing, it was full and all the way around into the horseshoe, and it was a super supportive, amazing people here in San Angelo that support the Bobcats, that they show up. They had their orange and blue on, and, man, they did. They created an element and an environment for us that made it tough. On our opponents, we could get loud in there, and that was a true, kind of home field advantage right there. And so I was thrilled by that, amazed with it, and our players took notice of it too. And it brings a lot of energy when you have that kind of crowd and those people around. And so yes, and then the game gets started, and here we go. I told the guys, in this district, from the jump, it is a fist fight for 48 minutes. And I love that about this league, is that there is no kind of ease into the game. It is go. You have to have your hot button pushed immediately. And, as the game got kicked off, and here they go. They converted a couple of third downs there on that first drive, got in the end zone. We get the ball back. We have a nice run on our first play from scrimmage. Give it to Zay. He hits it for 34 yards down the sideline, and a big physical hit right there at the end. And that got our juices going right there. And it established some good ground game in the first half. I love being able to run the football. It opens up everything that you want to do. Line of scrimmage is where you win. And, then it was that back and forth, the kickoff return. That guy had some elite speed there, and we were chasing it. I always say about speed, you either have it or you're chasing it. We chased it a little bit on Friday night, and then we didn't kick to that guy anymore after that. Yeah, didn't let him do that, but he had a great return on that, and it just put us kind of in a hole again, and we felt like we were always kind of just digging out a little bit. And then we get an interception. Jacob Jackson gets one.
Nice.
That stole a possession that way, scored again, and now we got a tied ball game. So kind of back and forth there really through the first 3 quarters, and just two offenses that were just going up and down the field right there. Not much, defenses not getting many stops right there through the first 3 quarters.
No, and an incredible game to watch statistically. 414 yards passing, I think is what Micah had. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just, it was spreading the ball around. So it wasn't just one person. But I made the comment a couple of times that they were stacking the box. They were loaded for your bully ball.
Yeah, they were, and I like that. If you can establish a run game, and we did that. Some good gap scheme plays in there, and when you force people to come in there and defend the run, if you can't stop the run, you're in trouble in this league. So you force people to come on in there and add some extra hats to it, and then it opens up. It wasn't quite the balance that I want. I want to be a little more balanced in our rushing and our throwing over the course of the game. But, whenever a team does that, it opens up those things over the top. And, we did. We had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys catch footballs, during the game, and a lot of big plays, some short stuff, some you saw some screen passes. We hadn't thrown a lot of screens. We got some screens mixed in there. Colton caught a nice one right there on third down for a big gain, and got a tight end screen to Kasner that he hit over there. So Yeah, we've kind of expanding what we do. You know, each week there's some new wrinkles and additions to what we're doing.
Judson Bright being one of them.
Judson, that was kind of a broken play
That's
over
what
there
I
on the
thought.
side, and Judson had the awareness to kind of turn around and get open right there, and Micah found him a nice gain up the sideline.
That was nice. Micah just kind of floated it over the defenders and right to him. He caught it.
Yep.
So we have 2 tight ends that officially have caught the ball.
Judson Bright, 1 catch, 34 yards there on it. It was a big gain. Yeah, big gain.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that you're getting other. I know I made a comment about the center screen. I saw that you were starting to run some center screens in there that seemed to throw them off also, to where they were like, oh wait, we haven't ever seen this wrinkle.
Yeah, and this was going to be a team that pressured more than we'd seen in the previous couple of weeks. So whenever you see a team that pressures, screens are always good answers, for pressure. So we had a couple weeks to get a couple in, and we got a few more that we didn't get to, on our call sheet. So we got those still in the bag for whenever the right occasion comes. And Permian's another pressure team we're going to see. We're going to see a lot of different pressure for them. So I'm sure we'll see some screens in our play selection this week as well.
Did I see a jet sweep or two Friday?
Yeah, we flip it and get it around the edge. Yeah, that's always a good touch play, for guys. And, we can create some edges, and especially when you're running the ball between the tackles well. And we do a lot of flyby motion where that's kind of a fake pitch and hand the ball off and run. So keep them honest. Go ahead and give it. Let's get on around the edge, and maybe you get some eyes going that way to be able to run the ball. A complimentary play there for inside run game.
Well, Coach, you guys were behind 21-7 at one point, and that does your heart bad, because I was thinking, man, they score one more time, we could be in big trouble early.
Yep.
But we got the interception. We did what we needed to do to tie it up and to make it a really, really good second half. But this Midland Lee team, I don't think I've ever seen a team move that fast on offense as far as getting lined up. I mean, we were playing instant replays, and they were beating us.
Already on the ball.
Yeah.
They were, and that's something that we practiced a lot this week. We had 2 huddles going where we could kind of go one into attack and then right to the next and get them out there and try to simulate that speed of that. And I thought we were prepared for that well. We were able to get calls in and get going and get lined up. And did we always execute the call correctly? No. But we were able to, to get lined up and go. Tempo is a good advantage, when you want to use it. It kind of forces a team to get lined up quickly and then go. You see they changed their tempo a little bit. When they needed to change personnel, they slowed it down. But for the most part, they were going to have their foot on the gas and go as fast as they could.
And we didn't look confused at all when they were hurrying up. It wasn't mass confusion or anything. I was just saying, boy, they did move fast.
Yeah.
I actually was watching an instant replay,
and he
thinking
thought
it was the next
real
play or vice versa. I was confused as could be.
Yeah.
But you guys weren't.
No. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
But it looked like y'all were having, with that tempo, it looked like they weren't subbing a lot, so you weren't able to sub a lot. And it looked like your guys were getting a little tired.
Yeah, especially, we have a nice rotation going on defensive line, and I like that. I think those guys are the most important to be fresh in and out of there. So, we had our staff was on the side, and as soon as we did see them make a personnel change, we certainly would get guys in at that time. But as long as they don't change the personnel, then you don't really have time to do that. So we pick and choose our moments when you're playing a tempo team, just some coaching strategy there. If the ball goes out of bounds on your sideline and it's going to be placed on your hash, you can get guys in a little bit faster that way. They don't have to run as far across the field to get guys on and off. So you got to be. That's also something that you got to practice and work. How you're going to get those people in those moments. So. Yeah, it was. We had some guys that played maybe a few more snaps than we would have wanted them to play during a sequence of plays, but that's how it goes when you play some tempo teams.
Absolutely. Different names, too, on defense that I was looking, stat sheet, names that we haven't called before that we're getting in on the action. So, yeah.
A lot of guys, I think we played I think we played a little over 20 guys in the game, defensively, low 20s in there, which is good. I like guys that have roles in the game. Maybe they're not a normal down, every down type guy, but they have something that they do, on third down, or whether it's short yardage or whether it's in this certain situation that they can get in there and execute. Yeah, I like to involve as many guys as possible.
Right.
Yep.
Some good variety. Some of those names we called out, I'm like, hey, it's the first time. It's the first time they've gotten into the action, and several of them did well. We missed a field goal, and they didn't miss at all.
Their
None
kicker
of
was
theirs.
spot on, yeah.
He was good, and he did what he needed to do to get them up by 3, get them up by 6. And then 9 was, we could come back from that. Then from behind 16, we had 2 chances at the end to score, get the 2-point, and maybe have a chance, and just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, it gets a little harder down there whenever the lead stretches a little bit, and they kind of softened up their coverage a little bit, didn't want us to throw it over the top, and, it created some challenges there in moving the ball that way. We still got down there, and I felt like that, we threw it into the end zone to Darius there at the end. I felt, we had a chance for a touchdown on that one. That was kind of a bang-bang play, and didn't get that one done, but that would have been a great opportunity to get there and try to tighten it up a little bit. But, yeah, just not quite enough. We do need to be, sounder in the kicking game. We got to be 100% in those things. I talked to the team this morning, about the Permian game. This game last year we lost by 2, missed an extra point, missed a field goal during the game. I mean, there's 4 points right there in a 2-point game. So these little things matter. They make a big difference in what we're doing, and we got to be sound in all of these areas to go play this Friday.
Well, and I think we laughed about it. Took I think 11 minutes to go 2 yards down there. We were like, oh my gosh, we're forward. Okay, now we're backwards. Now we're forward again, and it just seemed that clock just.
Well, we got it.
It was both sides, but we got it finally.
Yeah, we did. We were all the way down there and then backed up and then got in, ended up scoring. Yeah, that was kind of a unique set of plays right there. Yeah.
What happened? Because Mason said the same thing. I thought Colton scored, and I continued to think he scored.
Yeah.
Of course, he did score, but not this time. I thought they were lining up for the extra point, and I'm like, are they going for 2?
There was some confusion on whether he got in or not with our players, and I saw the referee that ran down there, and he didn't signal touchdown. I saw him kind of stop a little short of the goal line and wave his hand, so I knew he was short. And so, but we had some players that thought it was a touchdown and were kind of celebrating. So some of our extra point unit was coming on the field, and I'm like, guys, he's on the 2-yard line.
Right.
Offense is still out there, so. We had to get the kind of personnel straightened out and then be able to get up there and go. So, yeah, that was a little bit.
10 minutes later, we scored.
10 minutes later, we got a touchdown. Yeah.
I think I even made a SpongeBob reference to that.
You did,
4 hours later.
4 hours later.
Yeah,
but
that was good.
And we did move the ball well against them.
It's gotten better and better. Each week, we've been more efficient offensively and more yards, more points, and just kind of consistent in our performance and spreading the ball around to different people, running the football well, being able to throw the ball well, protecting well, and then, targeting the right people in the run game and doing that. I bragged on our offensive line again in our staff meeting, on Sunday. I felt like that's the most improved group that we've had, and they continue to improve and get better. So, that's a group of guys that takes a lot of pride in doing things the right way and, handling their business and helping the offense be as good as it can be. So really proud of those guys. Did a great job.
And in the end, it was a run that got us. Hayes Ham can run. Kid can run, and he took that left side, found that lane, hit the sideline, and was gone.
Yeah, our open field tackling wasn't very good. We need to find ways to create less space between, the ball carrier or the receiver and us. I think that, we were dropping and sinking into coverage a little bit long and let them throw it underneath, and then those guys were really skilled, and when you got 10 yards of separation between you and him, and those are hard tackles. We need to catch them in front of us, but we need to be a little bit closer so those angles are a little bit tighter, because we got exposed on a few there.
Interceptions for the defense. Blaine Belcher has one. Sabalos has one. Now Jacob Jackson. Am I right on that?
I know Jacob
Did I miss
had
one. Forget one? Because Jacob Jackson got one Friday. I just want to make sure.
We do have another interception, too. I'd have to go back and look during the break over here on my sheet.
And I'm ashamed that I forgot who it was that got the other one.
One of them was De La Garza. Is that right?
It was Troy Sabalos against Cooper. He caught that one right at the end. Yeah. Belcher got one, I think, week 1 or week 2.
Look at you bringing up stats.
And I'm just going by memory because I thought those were the only 3. But we have recovered a few fumbles.
Yeah, we've recovered a full. And the interceptions, the linebackers are crashing. They're coming downhill. They're running after folks. And it's great to see that. It was the secondary that was getting burned a little bit and stepping up rather than staying planted and reading the play. So that gave the opportunity for them to go over the top a couple of times, and I think that was, you could see them kind of getting tired. you could see that secondary kind of wearing down.
You know, to play out there, you know, there's such a mental focus that's required, you know, at that position all the time, and can't have any mental, you know, errors or mental letdowns or breaks. So you got to be sharp and locked into what you're doing. Your eyes have to be really good. You know, I think to play defense, you know, your biggest weapon is your eyes. And if you got your eyes in the right spot, you know exactly what you're looking at, okay, and then what to do, then you got a chance to be successful. And I defensive football is down to three things for me, what I always like to say. Number one, okay, is see the formation. And if we can all identify what the formation is, then number two, okay, get aligned properly based on the call and the formation that they're in. And then number three, execute my assignment, you know, what I need to do within that call. So we didn't always have our eyes right there and saw the right formation to be able to know what check we were getting into. So we had, you know, some plays that was like that out on the field. And if you got kind of one guy doing one thing, one guy doing something else, that's a recipe for disaster on the football field. So eyes have to be cleaner, got to have really clean eyes. And then, you know, then you can turn loose and go play. But we got to have better eyes this week.
Micah got the opening touchdown. That was a pretty good little run to get the score. But right before that, he gets the first down. Momentum carried him off onto the track, and he did the first down point.
The first down point,
that was pretty stylish.
He likes that one.
And then he scored.
Sometimes they do, the old first down.
Or Colton Hill doing that thing.
Yeah.
They've all got their little traditions and idiosyncrasies, but Hill, Jimmy Edwards, you know, congratulations to them on scoring touchdowns as well. They both have a few. Colton quite a few, and of course Micah as well. So
yeah, it's a good job. You know, that was that drive. But, you know, the quarterback to be able to make plays with his feet when things break down is important. You got to have that element in this game, and you know, he did. He ran for that first down, and then as they dropped everybody into coverage, and there's a lane, you know, in there to go, just take off and go. And he's certainly skilled enough to get it to the end zone when something like that happens.
Yeah, and it seemed like vision was. You talking about vision? It seems like his vision over the year has gotten better, where he's stepping up in the pocket and able to throw. He can sense it's collapsing, takes off. Yeah. So it seems like, you know, he's a junior. I can't wait to see next year whenever this whole and you can see he's got the pedigree, because that mind starts thinking, okay, well, if I do this, and he does things that even I go, wow, that's very mature of him to ditch that ball off versus taking the sack.
Yes. You know, I tell the team, and this is for Micah and everybody that's on there, you got to be a guy on the rise. You know, we always have to be improving. You know, do not ever allow yourself to be stagnant or where you are, or much less digress. You know, if you want to play championship level football, you got to be a guy on the rise. So what you did last week is not going to be good enough this week. We got to find ways to improve your game, be better. Maybe it's something little, like what we just talked about there, where, you know, more pocket presence or awareness of it, and there has. I've seen continual improvement from Micah and from a lot of guys on our team throughout the course of the season. So, and it's showing, you know, statistically. We need to show it in the win column next, you know, and hopefully that happens this Friday.
It would be a good time for it to happen, because like I said at the end of the broadcast, you guys can right all of the wrongs.
We can.
This Friday
You know,
night.
we certainly can. I'm glad you brought that up. You know, my message to the team on Friday night, it was a dejected locker room. We had a bunch of guys that were hurting, and that's a good thing. You know, I think everybody wants to win, but how many people hate losing? You know, that is it. And I saw a bunch of guys that hated losing in that locker room, and it's not acceptable, and that pain is real. And then you channel it, and you put it in the right place, and you go back to work and get ready to go. So I've told them this is a must-win game for me as we go down to Odessa and play Permian on Friday. Must win.
And a very beatable team. Looking at them, you know, they aren't. They're good just by tradition, but they're not.
They're good. They're good, though.
This is a good football team. I don't know.
Good.
Yeah, this is a good team.
Year in and year out,
They're good. They're good.
Yeah.
But they're a
yes,
beatable
I know what you're saying.
team.
Yeah, this league is built of teams, you know, that anyone can beat anybody. You know, it is really a league full of parity that way. You know, you got a lot of teams that are just within a couple of plays from one team winning or another. So that is definitely correct. You got to have your A game. You got to bring your physical level of football. You got to be ready for a fist fight for 48 minutes as soon as you get there and play. So, yes, It's anything can happen. You know, we need to show up, play our best football, clean things up a little bit, get a few more stops defensively, clean up a kicking game a little bit. Let's make sure we shore those areas up, continue improving, and then let's go see what happens.
Yeah, and Coach Hartman said, you know, you come into San Angelo Stadium, you already feel like you're down 7-0.
Yeah.
Well, that crowd, yeah, it's right.
I think the same thing applies going into Ratliff.
Yeah, it's definitely a home field advantage there for them, and you know that it'll be full. I'm sure they'll be full of people over there, and it'll be a great West Texas, little Southwest Conference environment on Friday night in Odessa.
We're looking forward to it. We'll talk about that next. I just wanted to tell you, you were talking about competitiveness in the locker room after the game. We were hanging out back, and the players come out, and he certainly wasn't rude. I'm not saying that. A player walked by me. I don't know who it was. I said, "Hey, man, good game," and he just looked straight ahead. Tears in his eyes, just kept on walking, and I'm like, that's right.
Yeah,
that's good because he cares.
That is, you know, and we do. We got a team that's infected with a bad case of the want-tos, and these guys really do. You know, they show up every day. They want to do well. They want to succeed. You know, and it shows in moments like that you just mentioned. When you see it on somebody's face, it's got to hurt. You know, you invest so much in what you're doing. When it hurts, then you know you got somebody that you can count on. Yeah,
and you play your heart out, and you're right there with them and don't get the win. It's disappointing, but all the wrongs can be made right Friday. We'll talk about that next. It's Permian coming up Friday night at Ratliff, and we'll be back at Shenanigans after this on Bobcat Insider from Concho Sports Network.
Check out why First Community Federal Credit Union is the #1 local auto lender in the Concho Valley.
With great low rates on new, used, and refinance autos, we can save you money. First Community has great payment options and low prices for GAP, extended warranty, and credit life insurance, so we can make your payment fit your budget. So be smart, bank smart, and contact First Community for your auto financing needs.
Pain is never planned, and recovery time is never convenient. But the last thing you want to do is wait for answers. At Angelo MRI, you are more than a number. We can get you results within 24 hours at a price you can afford. So when you need to get back into the game fast, tell your doctor you want to go to Angelo MRI. We hope you don't need us this season. But in case you do, remember, it's your health, your choice, your MRI.
At Schertz Landscape, we care about the quality of trees that you put in your landscape. Therefore, we grow our trees here locally in the Concho Valley. As a certified arborist, I not only care about the quality of your tree being planted, but I am also qualified as a tree risk assessor. I can evaluate the health of an older tree or the risk that it may have to you and your property. Come see us at Schertz Landscape, where we care about the quality of your trees.
See friendship being
Welcome back to Bobcats Insider, live from Shenanigans Sports Bar and Grill, from Luke's Cage and Concho Sports Network. Darren Prater, Arlen Ponder, the Central Bobcats broadcast crew for Concho Sports, here with head coach Mark Smith. Now that we've put game one behind us and learned from it, this is a huge opportunity. This Friday night, Ratliff Stadium, 7:30 kickoff, San Angelo Central versus Odessa Permian. Our long, bitter rival, but really any game in this district is a rival. But this is a big-time rival, and it would be a big-time win, Coach. So how do you handle practice all week, getting them ready for the hype and all of that and the atmosphere of Ratliff Stadium?
Well, you know, we keep the focus on us, you know, with every opponent that we play. You know, we got to play as clean a football as we can, you know, in order to be successful. And we do talk about the opponent, but we don't necessarily make it about the opponent, you know. As it gets closer to Friday, we certainly will, you know, make sure that they're aware of everything that we're going to be getting into. You know, these players know, you know, what games are like in this district. We do have a lot of rivals in this league because this league has been together a long time. You know, you don't see a lot of shuffling around and moving to different places. So it does create some of these unique matchups where these schools have played each other many, many, many times. So,
yeah, I think we
back to 1931 with Lee.
Yeah, we were talking
Yeah.
about Lee went back to
Long time.
1931. Yeah. So
I mean, even we opened the season with Abilene High, who had been in this league a long time, and that was over 100 times as well in that matchup. So, great programs with tradition and history with each other, and so this is another one of those that certainly stands out, kind of up at the top of the list. And of all the iconic schools in the state of Texas, it's hard to think there's one more iconic than Permian, than Mojo and that Permian P. Friday Night Lights and the history that's behind that as well. So that's a great story in Texas high school football, and we're grateful, to be right here in this position where we can take our guys over there and let's go play this game.
That's right, in a storied environment at Ratliff Stadium and all that.
I was going to say, looking at their two deep, a lot of 10th graders on there, a lot of sophomores, a lot of juniors, so a young team.
Yeah, more sophomores than I've seen on any roster that we've played this year. And sometimes that means that they're a really talented group. Sometimes they're just thinner in some areas, and they need some sophomores to come up and play on the varsity. I always try to prefer to not have that, if I can. I think if you're a sophomore and you're on the varsity team, you need to be playing a significant amount of football. If you're not getting many snaps as a sophomore, you need to develop and go back and play on the JV. So, yeah, these guys they're involved. They're getting them in and playing. So, that's something that, it could be good or could not so be good for them, as you look at it.
And you talk about being hungry. It's are they hungrier than that next person down from them? And that's why they jumped in there. Are they hungrier than that senior that's in there? And you don't know but what things can switch in an instant.
Yeah, everything's fluid, know, in this. Yeah, we do everything on pencil in this business. Yeah,
Right.
Not too much is written in ink, but, I like they got a good roster. This team is good. They're the quarterback and the running back are the two kind of guys that are back that kind of lead that offense, and both were good players a year ago, and here they are again. They got a big physical, massive offensive line. We're going to see that again. We saw that with Midland Lee. We'll see it again with Permian. That's something that's consistent with everybody, in our league. We got big physical line play, so we got some more big boys to go compete with. There defensively, this is going to be an odd structure team, a 3-down team, 4 linebackers over the top. They're bringing a variety, all of them, sometimes one of them, sometimes none of them, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, a different variety of that. They like to play a lot of just straight up, zero coverage, out of that as well. So, we're going to see a lot, from these guys. So I'm excited about it. They got a really good kicker. Their kicking game is good. Left-footed kicker. He kicks a lot of touchbacks. Had a 54-yard field goal, this year. So got a big leg on this guy. So, yeah, well-rounded team.
They used to, back in the day, 80s, 90s, run the wing T. That was an Odessa Permian thing.
Yep.
Do they kind of run a version of that, but out of the shotgun these days?
Well, you're still going to see some option, principles to what they do. So that's been consistent. I think one of the things is you're going to always have a quarterback in a 20s number when you play Permian, and that's another tradition there, because went back in the day when it was that kind of wing T offense, that guy was like another running back, and he wore a running back number. So that's been tradition there, over a long period of time. So every quarterback that's going to play there is going to be in a 20s number for that reason.
Wow. I'm glad you told us that.
There you go. Yeah, that's your nugget, right? You didn't know that already? I knew that from when I grew up in Abilene and we were playing them. Yeah.
Man, you played them growing up.
That's right.
When I was in high school, all we saw was on TV this scary team from way out in Odessa, and they were scary. If you're from Dublin, Texas, you look at them and go, golly, they're scary.
Yeah.
I watched them beat Aldine for the state championship in '89 on TV with just an antenna. You could actually watch football with just an antenna 10 miles out in the country back then. Yeah, they were
tradition.
scary.
Tradition. They're loaded with they're a lot like Brownwood and Abilene, where they're loaded with tradition. Even Stephenville now.
Oh yeah,
getting that tradition to where it's not like with Lee with their number 37.
Yep.
Got that tradition, and that's a good thing. And I'm glad to see you're setting some of those traditions and bringing some back that we have here at San Angelo.
Oh yeah, this is a proud program, that I'm very fortunate to be the head coach at. It's got a great support base and community, and as you saw, it was on display Friday night. So yeah, there is a ton of really good football that's been played in these helmets over the years. On the front of our front bumper on our helmet this year, this is an example from last year, but it says 107. It's the 107th team in the history of San Angelo Central football. So there have been a lot of good football played in this school for a long period of time, and we're just grateful to be, holding the whistle right now for a while.
And we're not a team that people look forward, even when we only won one game, we're not a team people look forward to playing, and they usually don't have a good time because every season, the past several years, we've got to play Central, and you're going to be in a dogfight against us, and if you don't play well, you're going to lose. It's always that way. So I think Permian knows that this is one of those teams you have to really grind in the fourth quarter a lot of times to beat. That's us. You have to grind to beat the Bobcats.
Yeah, you got to earn every win in this league, and that certainly applies to everybody. And there's nobody that you're just going to walk up there and just say, okay, we got this guy. Nope, this league is a earn-it league. You got to come in and do it every single week. And, I certainly know that's how people feel about us. That's how we feel about everybody else. We got to be on our game. This is a league that you got to minimize your mistakes. You got to be able to play clean as you can possibly play. Take advantage of the moments when you get there. This is, you can throw some haymakers in there when they give you the opportunity, but this is a lot of body blows, over the course of 48 minutes. That's how this game is won. And when there is that window to take that haymaker shot, you got to be able to connect. But a lot of body blows. That's what wins games.
A lot of people in ice baths on Saturday morning.
That's right.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Yep. That's it. That was my message to the team last week, was that exact thing. That's it. This is body blow, body blow, body blow. Take the big shot whenever you can. So
what was that video game from back in our day where it went body blow, body blow?
Oh yeah.
Bald bull.
Yeah, it was
Mike Tyson's punch out.
Yes.
That was
Bald
it.
Bull was
That
the
was
first
awesome.
guy that you had to fight.
Yeah, Bald Bull was pretty
easy. You kind
easy.
of whipped him pretty easy, and then you moved on to some other ones. Glass
Joe. He stunk.
Yeah, there we go.
He had no chin at all.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
Well, what we know about Permian, they lost to Plano in a good one to open the season. They've beaten Abilene, but year in and year out, they're good. People are, well, they ain't what they used to be. Well, they're good.
No, this is a good football team. I'm looking at it right now. From they lost the opener to Plano. They went to Frisco and played at the Star there, and lost a game to two tradition-rich programs there, Plano and Permian, and lost a 10-point game there, and then they rattled off 5 straight wins since then. East Lake, Abilene, Tascosa, the team out of California, and then Odessa High in their opener last week, and then here we go now. So this is a team that's on a roll, playing confidently. They've strung together some wins and are really playing good football right now.
Year in and year out, you can count on them to be good. Maybe not state championship good, but good enough to beat a lot of people. And there's been several times when Lee was either undefeated or having a great season, lose to Permian. And then it goes back the other way. Permian's undefeated, they're going to lose to their rival. So anything can happen in the Little Southwest Conference. 7:30 kickoff Friday night against Permian. I look forward to this every year. I really do. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to caravan over there in the mobile studios.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a Pinto.
The first of 2 trips to Ratliff Stadium this year. We'll play
you're
SI
right.
there as well. We'll be there, 2 times.
Right. Anything else you need to add, Coach? We hope you have a great week of practice, and go get them. Everybody watching, big crowd, loud. Let's caravan over there. Let's do it.
We do. The Bobcat Nation travels well. We'll see a lot of orange and blue in the stands in Ratliff Friday night.
Man, it's going to be fun. And it will be on Concho Sports Network, of course. Coach Mark Smith, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Always fun.
Thanks for all of you that have joined us. It's Chiefs Insider coming up next from Shenanigans, brought to you by Luke's Cage. For Coach
they're
Mark
off
Smith,
tonight because they're
Arlen Ponder. I'm Darren Prater. Oh, the Chiefs are off tonight.
Yeah, they're open this week. Yeah,
the hosts
they'll be
are
back
here.
next week.
Yeah, the hosts
They're
are
not
here,
going to do the show.
they're not going to do the show.
Yeah. All right, and they're back in the winning column too. We'll see you Friday night at Ratliff with Concho Sports Network. So long, everybody.